Hi there, it's Misty. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is Wednesday. That means it's time for a new challenge at Simon Says Stamp Wednesday Challenge. The theme this week is Anything Goes, and we are featuring WPlus9 products. So I'm using two stamp sets from WPlus9. I'm using Unforgettable and Bubble Talk. Both sets had really cute elephants in it. So this is the first time I've ever done a tall card like this. Uh, it's really tall. It ended up being 4¼ by 12 inches tall, which I know is pretty tall, but I really wanted these elephants to look like they're hanging by the balloons at the top. And well, this is just how big it ended up being, which is perfect for me because I like to write a short novel inside most of my cards when I make them to my loved ones. So my husband always makes fun of me. So he said this card is good for someone like me who likes to write a lot inside. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm using my platform here to figure out where I wanted to place my elephants. And then I'm going to stamp everything in the Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink. And I have to move the card around just to get all the stamps to fit on there. So I'm going to stamp the ones that I could fit on this side of the platform. And then I'll switch around and stamp it on the other side of the platform too. And the only reason I did it this way, instead of just removing the elephants and putting the new stamps on, is I wanted to stamp this out a couple times. So I had, 2 or 3 card fronts to color later down the road if I want to remake this card. So I made, this took half a sheet of the Express-It blending card. So I just stamped the other half with these same images. And then I stamped it on some Bristol Smooth paper as well, 2 panels of that. Just so I wanted to try Copic coloring on the Bristol Smooth paper. I think I tried it before and I don't think it blended as well, but I know ink blending looks really good on the Bristol Smooth, so we'll see how the Copic coloring goes as well. Otherwise, I'll just use colored pencils. But I don't make my cards more than once very often, but I just loved this. I just love this layout. I love how these elephants are hanging like this, so I stamped it out a couple more times. And I do have a craft fair coming up Labor Day weekend in September, so I'm always looking for things to color while I'm sitting there. So it'll be a good time to color in these card fronts. And before I forget, this video turned out to be a little bit longer than my other videos just because I left some of the Copic coloring in. So if it's too long, you can go to the settings of the video and speed it up. So it'll go twice as fast and save you half the time. Yeah, I left some of the Copic coloring in because I love to watch people color. I could watch just videos of people coloring, but I don't know. I'm curious if you guys like watching the Copic coloring, or if you will, just leave me a comment and let me know if you like watching the Copic coloring, or if you'd rather me cut that out and just do the video without the Copic coloring, because I can even do a separate video with just the coloring if I wanted to. So yeah, let me know. I'd love to get your feedback, and I'm open to do it either way. So, do you like the Copic coloring in the video, or would you prefer me to cut the coloring out? Is my question. I'm hoping you guys will give me an answer. And to catch up really quick, like I said, I'm using the Copic friendly Express-It blending card as my card front there. I'm using the full adhesive Post-it notes to mask off my little elephants, and now I'm using the Simon Says Stamp masking paper to mask off the little hill that my bottom elephant is going to be sitting on. And I used a die to cut out this hill, and then afterwards I realized I could have just used scissors and cut this out. I mean, it's just a, slightly curved line is all it is. And I don't have a cloud stencil yet, which I'm hoping to get soon. So I just made my own cloud stencil with the Puffy Clouds die by Fawn. And I had some acetate that I make stencils with on my silhouette, so I just cut out my own little stencils here. Okay, so here's where, when I make this card again, I don't know why I went for, I'm in love with the Distress Oxide ink, so that's what I just reach for now. I started out with a Fossilized Amber, and then I went up to Peacock Feathers, but you know, this Distressed Oxides are so bright and, you know, vibrant that I wanted a soft look, and that really wasn't what I was getting with these. So I switched it over and started using regular Distress ink. I did the Squeezed Lemonade and Tumbled Glass to try to soften it up a bit, which it didn't, but I'm still okay with it. I think it still looks okay, but when I make it again, I definitely want to do my clouds a little bit softer. And then for the little grassy area, just using the mowed lawn and peeled paint. I had one corner of my masking paper that kept lifting, but that's okay. I'm going to fix it in a minute. I had a harder time, or it seemed like I had a harder time getting an ink blend on this Express It blending card paper. I mean, it wasn't hard. It just seems like it took a little bit longer to get a light blend. But I'm used to using the Bristol paper now. My favorite part. And you know, sometimes you just have to get right over the top of it to line it up right. With this platform, it seems like I have a harder time lining it up because I can't see the lines through it as good as I can with the Misty. So I have to get right over the top of it. And what I do like about this is you can take the whole top off. What I do most of the time is I'll take the top off, flip it around, and then line it up that way. So I'm just taking a Copic multi-liner pen. I kind of drew where I wanted my string to go. And so now I'm just going over it with a pen. And I know, see, my original idea was to have one like bold color balloon at the top. But I'm going to change that because there's so much room up there. And I don't know, I had colored a bunch of balloons anyway because I was trying to decide what color balloon I wanted up at the top there. So since I colored a bunch anyway, I'm going to end up using them. But so since I kind of sketched where I wanted my string to go, I'm just taking an eraser and erasing my pencil marks. And then this is that sand eraser, and the little blemish that I got on the elephant. I tried doing this to remove it, but I was afraid I was going to erase his eyeball there. So I'm just going to use the Copic markers to fix. But see, on this little corner where my mask kept pulling up, it worked beautifully. It pulled the, you know, the color up. You can't even tell that I messed up there. So I did a bunch of different color combos to try to figure out what color I wanted my elephants. And then I liked something in between two, so I did another one up at the top. Yeah, I had to take my picture for the 30-day color challenge just to show, yes, I am coloring. Haven't been participating much, but so anyway, so I really liked the W1, 3, and 5. So that's what I ended up using for all of my elephants. I just like the shading best on that one. And I just kept one of the elephants in here. Otherwise, this video would have been even longer than it already is. But I did the same thing for all 4 elephants. And I always start with my darkest color, you know, figure out where I want the shading to be, and then go to my mid-tone and then to my lightest color. And I used R30 for the inside of the ears and the cheeks. Normally I use R20 and then I go over that with R30 to soften the R20 up, but I just wanted it really soft pink. So this is my lightest color, the W9. I mean, W9, W1. I have no idea where I got W9. And then once I get the lightest color down, I'm going to go over the whole thing again. I'm going to start with my darkest and then work my way back to my lightest. I only did one layer of the R30 though, just because I wanted to keep that really light. So once I got another elephant colored, I realized it needed something else. So I don't know, I was trying to give it some texture, the look of texture. So I used this pointillism technique that I learned in the Kit and Clowder monthly coloring class that I take. It's a really, really great class. They have a marker class and a colored pencil class, but it's packed full of information. But anyway, so you just do, you know, just light dots in each color section. So for the W5, I did the darkest dots in the darkest color, and then the medium dots in the medium shade, and then the lightest in the W1. I don't know, I think it's a great way to give something, you know, a little more texture. They're really cute smooth too, but elephants aren't smooth, so I wanted to give it a little bit of texture. So here's where I didn't know what color I wanted to do at the top of my card, so I did a couple different colors. I knew I wanted something bright up there, and then I was going to match the card base to whatever color I chose. So I decided to do the red one because I really liked this color combo. And I'll have all these colors I'll list over on my blog, since a lot of them I colored cut out of the video. But this was a really great red combo. So at first I was going to do just the one balloon like what I had in mind. But then I decided to add all of them because I already had them colored. They were all nice, bright and cheery colors. And I had a lot of room up there. So I left the coloring of this balloon in too because again I went and I did 2 layers. I colored it twice. And you got to be careful with red though because sometimes it'll bleed. But this Copic friendly paper is really great because none of it bled out. So I was trying to be careful not to oversaturate it. And then I always forget to do this. I think this is the first time I've actually ever done it, but I took my white gel pen and I just added a little highlight area to the balloon. And since I actually remembered it, I went ahead and added it to all the other balloons as well. All right, so I had this red 12 by 12 cardstock or paper. I guess it's paper. I think it's from Stampin' Up that I got, like, first time I ever ordered anything from Stampin' Up. So have this paper pack with bright colors in it. And I thought the red was perfect for this. And it was the only solid red I had. So I stuck with the red, even though I just thought red was nice and bright and cheery. This could have went with last week's theme too, the bright and cheerful theme. But anyway, so I cut out all my balloons. I popped 2 of them up on foam squares. And of course I went around the edges of all of them with the black marker. And then it was just time to glue them all down. Almost done with this card. I know, if you've hung in there this long, like you deserve something, because this is a long video. So just using my handy little glue syringe here to glue them all down. And I'm looking at this video, and each time I arranged it, each time I added a balloon and glued it down, I arranged it a little bit differently. And I liked all of them. It's like, oh, I like that way. And then that's not the way it ended up. And did the same thing for the next arrangement. But I'm happy with the way it ended up. And somewhere along the lines, I drew in the rest of the strings, which was not easy to do. I actually had to practice that. Some people make it look so easy. I drew it in with pencil at first, and yeah, I had to do it a couple times on a piece of paper. So had some scrap craft foam that instead of wasting the whole sheet, actually I don't even think I had a whole sheet. I think I already cut all mine down to A2 size, or a little bit smaller than A2 size. So I just took some scraps and glued it on to the back of this, or taped it onto the back of this. And then to finish it off, I'm going to add some hearts here and there. And then I'm going to put some glitter over them with the Spectrum Noir clear glitter pen. And then I'm going to add some glossy accents to the hearts and the little bow that somewhere I stamped too. Some things got cut out of this video, but the little bow is stamped in the Lawn Fawn Lobster red. Love that color. So I add some glossy accents to that as well. And that is it. That is my card for this week. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you stuck around this long. If you did, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And head over to my blog where I'll have more pictures and all the details on this card and how to enter the Simon Says Stamp Challenge, Wednesday challenge. And I'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.